Welcome to our New Year Challenge live stream.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Joe.
And we are
Two Crazy Ketos. And if you're new to our channel, welcome. Here on Two Crazy Ketos, we do different things like recipe videos and we do product reviews. We talk about various keto topics, and every Monday we go live on Keto Beyond the Couch because life exists beyond the couch.
You can find us in different social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
And we have a website, which is twocrazyketos.com, and that's where you're going to find all of our different recipes. Now, we do upload at least 5 new videos every single week, so make sure you subscribe to our channel.
And don't forget to hit the little bell icon, and that way every single time I think Joe wants to burp, you'll be alerted to it. You were horking down food. You came home hungry. You had a dive today.
Because it was cold.
Do you find that you are hungrier when it is cold?
Well, got up early, went diving. It's 57 degrees outside. 2 dives. Yeah, and then like you're using a lot of energy to stay warm.
Right.
The water temperature wasn't super bad. It was like 72 degrees or something like that. But when you got on the boat, you were freezing because the wind is whipping on you.
So let us know in the chat, do you find that if you're cold, you're hungry? I have been cleaning the house today.
It looks awesome.
And I find this is a very odd thing. I find when I'm cleaning the house, I get very thirsty. I have had so much liquid. I could have filled up like one of those, you know how you see, they're getting bigger and bigger. If you go to like Marshall's or TJ Maxx, right, you can find those like water jugs that, I mean, they don't even fit in the shopping cart barely. And I think that I probably have drank that much liquid today. I don't know what it is about cleaning the house. It makes me thirsty.
I was actually perusing through AliExpress. You buy like stuff from China. It's like you
Is it
buy
like
a lot of
wish.com?
No, it's a lot of like sort of, but not really.
Like you're gonna get it before Labor Day?
It usually takes a couple of weeks, but you buy like a lot of 3D printer stuff.
Okay.
There. A lot of companies go through them because you can buy like 100 of something or 1,000 of something. I found Stanley mugs for $19.
No, you did not. No, you didn't.
Yeah, I sent it to Chris.
Did you buy some?
No. I have too many Stanley mugs already.
Because now it's getting...
I want to know if they're real because it looks like they're real and the reviews say they're real. But I'm like, yeah, if you could get them cheap. Then if I ever actually set up my laser engraver, it would be kind of cool to have like 2KK laser engraved Stanley mugs.
Heck yes, it is. Amy, you are so right. Cleaning is exercise. It is hilarious to me. If you think like I can't get steps in a day, clean your house, but like wear something that's like a Fitbit or your watch or something. Usually I will be in this small area and like get in like 7 miles inexplicably. Yeah. Like it is crazy. I was telling Robin F this morning, she's like, hey, how's it going? And this morning, and I was like, good. I am packing up all of the Christmas, but I am not unpacking the things that I packed away to allow room for Christmas. I just want the extra space in my life.
Right.
It's funny. Like I want less decorations and more space. And one of the things, that thing just came off. We must have like a loose wire.
There's gotta be, I think it's that piece up there. It's not super compatible with, we had like one of our hubs went out and the one that I brought in here is not super compatible with the M1 Mac. And I don't want to buy a new one because they're $400.
Oof. I don't want to buy one of those either. But yeah, I find that if I don't have eyes on something, like, you know, when it comes to exercise, I just get it in if I'm cleaning in this small space. It's crazy. And speaking of cups, the one thing that everyone in this household, all 4 adults, love are funny mugs. And cups. We all like...
I only want them if they're big.
Interesting cups, but as much as countertop space is like prime real estate, so is cabinet space. We have very little cabinet space, and every single cool cup that we find through an experience is like, where the heck am I going to put it? I actually, Anthony...
I know where I put it. You're just nicer than me. Because when
you put it in the trash.
No, I put it in their rooms.
Anthony recently...
Like they both have Stanley mugs in your room.
Right.
Why can't it be in the kitchen? Because there's no room in your room.
Anthony recently went to SeaWorld and had a wonderful time enjoying like the holiday time and got like a cup of coffee in a cute like themed cup. Came home, showed me the cup, super cool. I packed it in the Christmas stuff. I don't know if he wanted it in his room, but I was like, you will see this next holiday season because Mommy doesn't have any more room in the cabinets for these things. So anyway, so everybody's here today to hopefully find out what is the focus of 2024 for the Two Crazy Ketos family, and specifically, what is our focus going to be for January?
And it's not get off the scale.
It is not.
I mean, it could be.
It could be, if that's important.
That's one of Nisha's rules. You know,
yeah, I
saw
that.
All the people are saying, you guys, like, you're wrong about the scale. It's one of Nisha's rules. One of Nisha's rules for her challenge for January, you can't go on the scale.
I find that so encouraging. Like, it really was encouraging, and I can absolutely get on board with her leading that. So I have some things written down. Joe has very strong feelings about anyone talking with notes, but y'all know if a squirrel goes by, I'm going to get distracted and I'll lose my focus. And this really means a lot to me. And I think it's really important for you to know why we sort of came to this thought about our focus and the theme for 2024, which, the theme for 2024 is the pursuit of more in 2024. I mean, I love a good rhyme. You know, I'm a
trying
Dr.
to get this
Seuss.
screen over so I can show something.
I can
so just
see.
ignore me.
Okay, I will. No problem. I can do that. I'm a wife. We absolutely. Okay, so obviously when I say more for 2024, everybody can get on board with that. We love forward momentum, right? Nobody's like, hey, we're going to have less in 2024. I mean, maybe if you're trying to embrace more of a minimalistic lifestyle, you can be like, I want less clutter in 2024. But I think that forward momentum is something that everybody can get on board with. I think if I ask you guys as a group, do you want more success next year than you have right now? There would be a resounding, yes, we do. Yes, we would like more in 2024. But if I ask you to define that success, more of what specifically, then we're going to get as many different answers as there are people watching this right now. Right? I mean, you might say, I want more weight loss, but some people are not going to say that. Some people are going to say, I want more weight gain, because maybe you're building to something. Maybe you're going to say, I want more muscle in 2024. So I can't share somebody's desire as a group for more weight loss in 2024. Some people are going to say, I want more health gain in 2024. Some people are going to say more for me means more mobility. I want more mobility in 2024, or I want more consistency. That was another thing that was on Nisha's plan for 2024, which I think is awesome. Maybe somebody's going to say, I want more steps clocked in. I was so proud of Jujubee. She completed 52 hikes in 52 weeks this year.
Awesome.
And just an incredible victory. Maybe somebody wants to say, I want more people on board with what I'm doing in 2024.
Yeah, no, that...
I mean, everybody is going to have a different thing of more. And nobody is wrong. If any of those things are your pursuit of more, you're not wrong. All of those things are important. The challenge for Joe and I is, how can we serve everyone best? That's what I take with me when I go into my prayer closet and I start to think, how in the world can we serve everybody? Like, how can we be a blessing? I want to be a blessing. And our focus is community. Like, how can we help everybody? Because we truly do love everyone and want to be a help to them in their pursuit. And we've done elimination challenges. Like, when you think about challenges, what are some of the challenges that like stand out to you?
We've done everything. We've done beef, butter, bacon, egg. We've done carnivore. We've done egg fast, butter fast. You name it, we've probably done it.
Movement.
So we're going to do more meat challenge.
Right, exactly. And I think that anybody who participates in it, if you can like check that box that you've participated in it, like you feel like you've accomplished something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's your mind loves to plan and pursue things. And I think that we truly could bless a lot of people if we just said, hey, as a group, we're all gonna like challenge ourselves to get 5,000 steps in the month of every day in the month of January. Like
Right.
somebody's going to be blessed by that,
Right.
I think that somebody, if we said, hey, January is World Carnivore Month, and as a group, we are going to be all carnivore for the month of January. Like, I think that there would be a lot of people blessed by that challenge, but there would be somebody left on the bench
Yep.
if we do that.
And I'm looking down this whole list because everyone's trying to guess what is the challenge? What are we doing more of? And I see Maria like, I want more weight loss, which will lead to better health. Let's see. Barb wants to build more muscle. Debbie wants more consistency. Evelyn wants more willpower. Synergy said, this fits in my plan for the future. First is more sleep, more movement, more lots of things. Joanna said, mine is more movement. John said more meat. That's because that's what I said.
Right.
I was just joking.
And that's a challenge
That's a challenge I can do. So Joanna said, I have a list in order of importance.
Ooh, I like that. Plus, Joanna, thank you so much for our beautiful gift, a mailbox that came. And I am going to keep this in my office all year long, even though it's, obviously it's Christmas themed, but I just want you to know that I am going to just keep it in my office as a remembering of you, and also that the door is always open, that I love receiving contact and mail and information from people's stories. So my mailbox is open and ready to receive victories from people who want to share it. So thank you, Joanna, for that.
So Shy Girl wants more self-love. We're getting warmer there.
You're getting warmer. I love it.
We're getting a lot warmer. So.
Carrie wants a new job in 2024, which we're absolutely rooting for you, Carrie, for that. But if we pick something that specific, somebody is going to be left on the bench. If we start out a year, somebody is not going to be able to join us on a very specific focus like that. And I have really thought about, like, what is it that we can do that people are not going to be able to easily say no to?
Nobody's going to like this challenge.
I wanted to find something.
This is the hardest challenge we've ever done.
Well, and it is not.
Shy Girl, wow, Shy Girl's really on the right track, because Shy Gal just gifted 5 Too Crazy Ketos memberships.
Wow, you are on the right track,
So
Shy
she said,
Girl.
thanks to this community, I've been consistent with food, even though my family and other stuff have been so hard. Sitting here eating Burger King with no bread, that is a big win.
That is a big win. That is a big win. And it is a big win for me if I know that there is something that we can do as a community that it's hard for people to say no to. And it's more easy for them to be like, all right, I got to figure this out, because it would not be acceptable for me not to join this challenge. Because I think a lot of times if I say movement and someone has mobility issues, they're like, well, that lets me out. There is a limitation in my life.
There's no limitations on this one.
There's no limitations. This is something everyone can participate in.
No matter what your eating is.
No matter what you're eating.
No matter what your movement is.
No matter what
no
your
matter
season
where you live
of life is going on. So the pursuit for the focus for January is going to be the pursuit of more friendship. That is going to be the focus of January for the Too Crazy Ketos family group. And I'm going to start crying, but this is how much it means to me. We eat keto and it changed our life. And we wanted to share that with people because we hoped that it would change somebody else's life. I am so thankful that my mother is still alive because we shared keto with her. And I shared keto because I want somebody else's mother to live as well. I wanted to bless your family's life as well. And we have learned recently that friendship has changed our life. And so I want to share the pursuit of friendship in the hopes that it will change your life as well, that it will change somebody else's life. I continue to share keto because I want to rob Big Pharma. I want to rob them of the lives that I believe that they've held hostage. And I want to share friendship because I want to rob loneliness. I want to rob loneliness. I know that there are people that are lonely, and it is hard to pursue your health goals, whether you are trying to move more, or you are trying to stop disordered eating, or you are trying to find the willpower to gain more health momentum. It's hard to do this without friendship. It's really, really hard. So how do you break the chains of isolated disordered eating? You stop being isolated. That's how you do it, right? How do you stop fixating on yourself and everything that's wrong with you? You stop fixating on yourself and you start deciding that I'm going to get up every day and I'm going to have my eyes on somebody else, right? And I know that this is strange because we are beginning with an online community. Joe, we are virtual. This is a virtual thing.
Well, we got a fix for this.
We have a fix for this. And we have seen it stop being just virtual in recent years and start being a tangible thing. We've seen like friendships that were born online but have become real friendships.
Right.
Okay? So, friendship, we believe, brings with it accountability, enthusiasm, discussion. It provides answers to follow-up questions. And I can't tell you what I'm going to eat on day 2 of our cruise. We're going to be,
right.
But I don't care. In the past, when we would go on vacation, I knew every single food stop that we were going to make because the treat was every food stop along the way. I know when we go on our Two Crazy Ketos friendship cruise, not this coming Monday, but next Monday, I could care less what we're going to eat. The treat is the time that we're going to spend with our friends, right? Okay, so how will you know that you've maintained the spirit of the challenge at each day of January? When you can honestly say to yourself that you've tried harder than you've tried before. Because I think that we all know that there's more that we could do to like try with friendship, but we just let those opportunities pass. For some people, maybe it's going to be that you're going to read a post in one of our social media groups and you're not just going to scroll past. You're going to stop right there and you are going to talk back to the person making the post and let them know what it meant to you that they were vulnerable enough to share their story and what you're going to do in response to that. Maybe you've noticed that somebody that was super active in Mighty Networks and Facebook has gone missing. You don't see their name anymore. You don't see them as active, and you're going to take the opportunity to reach out to them and say, "Hey, I miss you. Like, let's have eyes on somebody." Like, right? Not in a weird way, but I will never forget Jen Delaney sharing that Autumn taking the time, her and her mama Chris, taking the time to seek her out and not just let her slip into anonymity alone. What difference that made, right? For somebody, that means that you are going to go ahead and put that folding money down and like get into go to a conference this year, join a low carb cruise, sign up for the 2KK cruise, right? Now, what are some of the obstacles that you can see?
Okay, well, we have to stop for a minute.
Okay.
Because everybody right now is saying to themselves, this has nothing to do with keto. So,
does it?
How does this tie in to somebody having a more successful year on keto?
Because I think that if you pursue friendship, like let's say, I'm going to take, for example, Sarah G. Sarah G decided she wanted some more friendship and that she had gotten to the point in her keto journey where she understood like what keto looked like food-wise. And she wanted more. Like she wanted more to get excited about than just the scale going down. So she decided, you know what? I'd like to make some friends. And I'm going to suggest that like once a month, me and Al go to Buffalo Wild Wings or some sort of local restaurant in the Wisconsin area. And I'm just going to put it out there in the Two Crazy Ketos family. This is where I'm going to be on this date. And if you can be there, I'll eat lunch with you. That's where it began. And guess what? I
gotta see what that noise is.
Oh, okay. She knows that like it's not hard for her to eat keto when she eats keto with somebody else that's keto. Like it's not challenging. So if you're looking for more consistency, making a friend that also eats the same way you do, and like, hey, let's go out and go to coffee together. Right? You stop being the only person that you know that is keto.
Right.
But she had to take that first step of friendship. She had to put herself out there. We met a gentleman on the low carb cruise. I believe his name is Greg, that goes to attends a church and was like, I'm the only person at my church that eats the way that I do. And I feel like every single time we get together for like a social meeting, I'm the only person. Like I feel very isolated within my group. And I think that this could speak to like any type of group, whether it's like the Elks Lodge or like a local community center, a local library that you're like, they have nothing for me. So he decided, I'm going to offer a group that gets together once a month and we just talk, and I just share that I've had some health success in this. So it began with him having to be like, this is going to be a time investment. I am risking, rejection or that, because that was my question was going to be to you. What do you see as an obstacle to friendship, to putting yourself out there?
The biggest thing is something like myself, where like you're an introvert.
Shyness.
No, not have an ability or don't have a place to build friendship, but we fixed that.
We did.
Which we're going to show in a second.
Yeah.
Okay. And those kind of things. Just like fear of rejection.
And I think that was what was really on my heart, and past hurt. If you're like, hey, I've put myself out there before and people haven't been friendly. Well, first of all, this is a very unique situation, because I think that instead of it being like the middle school table where I felt like I looked very differently than other people and didn't necessarily share the same struggle as everybody at that middle school lunch table, I think that you're gonna find that people within the Two Crazy Ketos family have shared some of the same hurt and pain that maybe you've shared in the past. And I think that makes things different, because people are more willing to be a friend, right? So if you know that going in, everybody's there for kind of a similar reason, it makes it a little bit easier to put yourself out there. And I know, there is going to be a challenge if you've been, hurt in the past. Maybe the mean girl in your school growing up, her name was Rachel. Maybe the meanest person you know is Rachel, and you decided that all Rachels are not to be trusted. Well, I want to be the Rachel that changes your mind about Rachels, but you're going to have to let me in. You're going to have to let your guard down a little bit and let me in order for us to change that. And it's going to be like the same with this. Like, to be a friend, you are going to have to risk a little bit.
Yep. And here's the thing, is that as we work on community and work on friendship, which is what the focus of our channel has always been, it's what we really is at our heart, it will help you move along in keto, because not only are you building a friend, but you're building somebody and other people who can be accountability partners, who can encourage you along the way. It's not just about like, you're doing the wrong thing, but it's just encouraging and doing things together. And that's what we're so excited about. And we worked on something, and that is going to go live on Monday.
Right.
And I want to show you, but I do want to hit some of these comments, because there's a lot of comments. So This is
Bezor.
Bezor.
Hi.
I've lost 115 pounds.
Wow.
I've never used to be cold. Now I am all the time.
Same
but I'll take it.
here. I bring a jacket with me everywhere. And I used to be that person that if someone said they were cold, I was like, get over it. I'm always sweating. So it's very different.
Yeah.
It's really, really
now
different.
She sleeps with a heating blanket.
I do.
Dawn said, I have 2 questions. Is there an RV show in Tampa in January? Yes. It is called the Florida RV Super Show. It is in Tampa. It is like the weekend of like the 17th. It runs from Tuesday or Wednesday until that Sunday. We will be there if I can find my calendar, which I can't find. There it is. I can give you the exact dates because we will be there for anybody who wants to meet up.
Yeah.
And so the dates for that are, so Tuesday is like a media day. Like we have media passes. So it begins on Wednesday, January 17th, and it runs through Sunday, the 21st. We will probably go home Saturday night or early Sunday morning because the Metabolic Health Summit is the following weekend.
Right.
And then we have something really big going on the week after that.
So and I do know that 2 other members of the Two Crazy Ketos family, Chris Miller and Megan Miller, are going to be there at the Tampa RV show as well. So you've already know a couple of people that are going to be there if that's something that you're interested in. Dawn, I see that you're asking, is it possible to meet up in our area sometime this year? Absolutely. Reach out to Sarah Joy Franklin, Matt Franklin, Nancy Tanner, Cynthia.
They are doing one in March.
They are
There's
doing
like a
one
tea
in
party
March.
or something in March.
Yeah. And if you don't live in the Florida area, check out lowcarbevents.com. There's all kinds of meetups listed there. If you're interested in setting up a meetup and you'll be like, man, I don't see a change going on in my local community, so I'm going to be the change. I mean, this is a big challenge for January, but there you can just fill out a form on there, and Chris Bear from Keto Chow is going to add that to the list of low carb events that are going on around the country. That maybe if you live in that local area, check in and see, hey, is there something for me to participate in 2024? That way you can kind of make your plans to do that.
So Susan said, more friendship is perfect. I'm so excited. I'm going to be able to reconnect with work besties in person 3 days a week starting next week.
But it's hard. Like Susan and I have actually talked about this when we were in Nebraska. Her and your coworker, we were talking about how we've lost a lot of socialization skills. If you have, maybe come home, you're working from home, the kids are maybe going to school from home even college was done virtually, and maybe it just, felt very comfortable to do things that way. We started losing some of our peopling skills. It's hard to put yourself out there and, we start to kind of inwardly focus and you're not going to abandon your success by making some time and energy for friends. I promise you that. It's almost like I feel fantastic and I feel great in my clothes after not having the scale anymore. I worried that will I lose momentum and lose success and if I don't have that scale, because that's what I'm used to. The scale measures success. Enjoying my life and taking my eyes off of the scale and off of that fixation on myself, it hasn't resulted in me losing success, right? There's success to be found. So I really truly believe if you're like, man, I feel stuck, let's try this. You've tried everything else. Tried everything else. What if caring for someone else and expanding, your friend group could help even in some way, even if it's just like, you'd have somebody as an accountability partner.
Right.
That's one way. So let's talk about how Joe and I are going to try our very best to help you begin that ice breaking.
Okay, well, first I want to get the rest of it. So Dawn said, amen, this is my goal too. I need more real-time, tangible, present friends in my life. All my personal friends are at least 1 to 2 hours away now. I have acquaintances, but no friends here. And she is saying she'd like to have a meetup somewhere in Tampa in the Brooksville area. And so, again, listen, I will be honest. We don't know our whole schedule for this coming year. We know part of it. I can tell you, until like mid-March, actually April, like our schedule is like super tight. Like
Yeah.
I don't even know how we're gonna get through our schedule.
It's going to be gone.
But because we have some cool things going. But now we're going to Vegas. It's also like I'm gonna be missing half of lacrosse season, which my assigner is gonna get really upset about. But
You may lose a friendship there.
I know. But here's the thing: is if there isn't a meetup in your area, that's your opportunity to create one. And it doesn't have to cost you anything. Like
No.
when we talk about a meetup, we're not saying, hey, throw this big party and renting a pavilion or anything like that.
No.
It can be as simple as going into our Mighty Networks group, going into like our Facebook family group, and just saying, anybody else in the Tampa area want to get together this Friday at Buffalo Wild Wings? Okay?
Yeah. Want to
And-
grab
and-
coffee.
And it may start with 2 people. It may start with 3 people. I look at Sarah's thing. It started with just a couple people. Now there's a whole bunch of them. Sabrina's, there's a whole bunch of people. I look at the Indianapolis or the Indiana meetup. Like, there's lots of people. The one that's all the stuff that's going on up in the Orlando area.
There's more and more people attending.
As a matter of fact, the Orlando one spawned from, we had a meetup last January.
Yes,
And everyone's like, why are we not doing this more often?
And so
it spawned into all these meetups.
And so I was just talking to Sarah Joy yesterday, I think it was, that we were texting back and forth, and she just said, we almost didn't go to that January meetup. We almost didn't go. But we did. We went ahead and did it.
And now she's leading meetups.
And now she's leading meetups.
Right.
And it's not like it's not hard. It's, if you haven't done it before, it is challenging to do that first meetup.
Right.
But if one person comes, you just have to purpose in your heart. I have decided, like, I'm going to leave that definition of success open wide. And if all I do is just have a pleasant afternoon and have a good conversation with one person, this will be worth it.
Right.
This will be worth it.
Yeah. And if you're in Florida, if you message us and saying, I'm having a meetup or we're going to have a little get together, let us know the date. We will try to get there. I can't promise because, again, like we do have conferences that we have to go to. And we do have some traveling that have already been planned, like we're going to be on the low carb cruise and that kind of stuff. But we will, if it's within a reasonable distance for us to get to it, we would. I would love to fly to all the meetups all over the country. We just don't have the money.
We just don't have the money
time
to do
for
that.
But I just wanted to put that out there. Like, if there isn't one and you don't want to drive to Orlando or you don't want to drive an hour away, create one.
Yeah.
Because, and that's what the whole real focus of this is. I mean, and I have on here, Shy Gal said community is everything with keto. It's also about letting people go that are not healthy for me.
But you want to replace that void. We don't, and I think that that's sometimes what we do is we finally get, and we need to do this, we take a friend inventory and we're like, this person is toxic. This person is not helping me. This person is making me feel bad about myself. This person is frustrating me. And we say bye, but then it ends there. And then there is this void because we're not meant to do life alone.
Right.
And we fail to fill the void with new friendships of people who are not toxic, people who will bless your life. And the longer that void stays open, the easier it is to isolate, the easier it is to push new friendships away. And we lose that ability to just, remember when you were children and you just were like, you have a bicycle, we're friends. We can bike together, right?
That's
It was
right.
like that easy. It was that quick. It didn't matter that like your parents were, you were in different socioeconomic groups or like you didn't care like if your parents were similar or had similar interests. It's like, you have a bike, that is easy, we are friends now, let's ride our bike until the street light comes on and we have to both go home, right? Like that's it. So you're watching this channel, you're 2 Crazy Ketos, like hopefully subscribers, you've made that commitment, that's enough. You both are on the same bicycle. Like, we could be friends.
Right.
Right?
I mean, Jennifer, look at it. This is perfect. My travel companion for the Two Crazy Ketos cruise is Kate Connolly, is my friend that I found through keto. Then I learned that but didn't know each other.
I can't even talk. Like, what? Like,
So they lived
imagine.
next door. They did not know each other.
So maybe you're...
And they met through keto.
Yeah.
And now they're rooming together on the 2KK getaway cruise.
Maybe you're thinking you're all alone and you're literally surrounded by people who are also feeling alone and would love to have you in your life. Sometimes we are fighting for, and I've talked to Sarah G about this a lot over the time, where she's like, I thought my closest friendships would be made at my church, at my workplace, within my family unit, and because it was
any of those.
And I could not get past for a long time thinking that, like, but I keep putting energy into these particular groups and I'm not getting that close relationship that I thought I was going to have there. Well, then let's rethink it and be like, be okay with the fact that maybe my closest friendships won't be at work. Maybe my closest friendships will be somebody that lives in another state and maybe I will just let it define itself.
My best friend lives on the other side of the country.
Right. And then you will be surprised how you can still grow a friendship.
So Lori wants to know, is there another Two Crazy Ketos cruise scheduled? I am working out the details with Royal Caribbean. It will not be during the summer.
That's a low carb cruise.
Even that is not like the summer. That's
spring.
That is it's the last week of May. Right? Whatever that date is the low carb cruise. We will never do a cruise during the summer. I won't even go on a cruise anywhere over here in the Caribbean during the summer because it's hurricane season.
Yeah.
So the Two Crazy Ketos cruise that's later on in 2024 is going to be in either November or the first week of December. I'm working out a couple things with Royal Caribbean. The big thing for me is I'm trying to keep the price as low as possible. And I'm trying to find out from some people, would they rather be on a large ship, the Oasis of the Seas, or like a medium ship, which is Freedom of the Seas? The big difference is the amount of stuff there is to do on the ship. One holds 4,000, one holds like 6,000. I don't think there's a big deal, but there's just more activities on the bigger ship. But it comes at close to the same price for a balcony cabin, but significantly more for an inside cabin. So that's what I'm trying to work out. Speaking of the cruise, wait a second. Hold on. We're looking down here, not up there.
Grab Heather's thing because
when it shows up down here.
She's got a great question.
One thing, for those of you who are going on the Two Crazy Ketos cruise last week, I've not yet sent out a message about it, but in addition to the room that we have, because this kind of ties in addition to the room we have for the departure day for us to give you some goodie bags, we have secured a room for 3 hours on Tuesday, which is a sea day from like 9 to 12, for us to kind of hang out and say, hey, they could only
have
give me
eyes
the room
on
for
one
a
another.
for 3 hours, unless we wanted to do it way in the afternoon, but that kind of tied in with dinner. So we got it for 3 hours, but we can just get together, hang out, talk, be friends, and then say, okay, who wants to go to the pool? Do we want to move this somewhere else? So and we'll send out all the details for that. Bags of Love said, this is going to be difficult for me. Since I retired 5 years ago, I moved away from my home state. I'm going to be 65 years old this March, and I have not been looking for any friends. So I'll try. What do you say to that?
It kind of goes in with what Heather had asked, which was,
I'll get to it. It hasn't
what
shown up yet.
if we are not looking for personal contact? We're not looking for more personal contact. Like
You don't need it.
You don't need it. So how can you participate in this challenge? You can be as active as possible when it comes to Post and Mighty Network. If you're here live in the chat, somebody, asks a question and you know the answer to it, answer the question. If you see a post, if you see, if you go and you're going to make a post on a video that we share and you see somebody else's, take a moment and look at all the other posts that have been there. Maybe you could answer somebody's post. Maybe there's a question that comes up in Mighty Network and someone's saying like, do I need electrolytes? And you're like, I've been doing keto long enough to be able to answer the question of what it's done for me in my life. Right then, you're being a friend by just answering that question. You know, have you ever put a post up on a social media post and not have any answer to it? Like no likes, no hearts, and no answers, and you're like, tap, tap, tap. Is this mic on?
Yeah, this
like,
does not have to be meet in person.
No, you could just answer somebody's question. Or if somebody shares a picture like, this is what's going on with my cat. And you can be like, hey, I really think your cat is beautiful. Like, thank you for sharing this picture. You know, that is something where you can interact. It's going to take a little bit more energy. Maybe you're like, I'm not a cat person. I could care less about cats. But you know what? I see that somebody who maybe doesn't have a partner in life, maybe they're an empty nester, and what they have right now is pictures of their cats to share. I can stop and say, they're very proud of their cat. This is important to them. And I'm going to stop what I'm doing, even though it would be super easy for me to just scroll by, because this is no important to me. This doesn't do anything to my life, but maybe I can say to them, that's a beautiful cat you got there. Like, I had a cat that meant a lot to me in the past. Like, just stopping to notice somebody can make all the difference in the world. And you may, by noticing them, help them to, because maybe their friendship thing that they were trying to do was just, I'm going to post a picture of my cat because I have no idea how to say I have friends. When we went to a conference this year, there was a person that came up to me, tears in their eyes, and said, I got dressed and wore a shirt that I thought would be a conversation piece, a funny shirt, in the hopes that maybe this would provide the icebreaker, because I didn't know how to say, I really want somebody to talk to me.
Yep.
I want somebody to talk to me, and I don't know how to begin that conversation, so I'm going to wear a funny shirt so that I have a reason to talk to somebody.
Yep. And listen, nobody is more awkward in talking to people.
We're so awkward.
Not you.
Oh, I'm awkward though.
Nobody is more awkward in talking to people in public that they don't know than me. As a matter of fact, at a conference this year, I literally had somebody walk up to me and go, why are you such a jerk? Right?
Yes.
And they were saying that because they're like, you don't talk.
Right.
And they're like, you're a jerk. And I'm like, I'm not a jerk. I'm just socially awkward. And I don't know how to talk to people.
Yes.
Like, you have to start the conversation. And I know that that is weird for somebody who is a YouTuber, but you have to understand, like, coming from the kid that was always picked last, everybody always made fun of me, I put myself into this little corner, and I don't know how to have conversations. Now, once we get to know each other, you're in trouble, because I'm not going to shut up.
Yeah.
Especially if we find something that we have in common, like 3D printers or diving or keto or
Star
whatever.
Wars.
Or Star Wars. But I don't know how to have those initial conversations. It's so much so when we're talking about, like, you just don't know. So one of my friends now, one of my prayer partners in my life is Jonathan Shane, the Keto Road.
Super different ages.
Very different. Like, literally, he's the same age as our son.
Yeah.
Right? He's the same age as our son.
Yes.
But, like, I've seen him, known of him for years. And then finally last year, not this past year, but last year, we were in Orlando, and I finally just got
Ballsy?
the balls to walk up to him. I'm like, why don't you like me? Because he literally would just walk the other way when he saw me.
You both would say hi, and that was it.
We'd say hello, and then and like it literally almost became like I felt he was actively not trying to not talk to me. And we would see each other at different conferences and stuff. And he used to work for Robert at Keto Brick. I'm like, why don't you like me? He was like, I thought you didn't like me. Because he is just as shy and awkward as I am.
Well, and
now we become like prayer partners.
But you had to risk that he was going to be like, because I don't like you. I don't like your face. Like,
right.
you
I
had.
did.
You
But
had
I
to
needed
risk
to know,
it.
more important was like, why don't you like me?
What could I do differently?
Right.
Because I don't want everybody to
Do
not
I
like
need
me.
to change my face?
Yes,
It turns out I
you
just
do.
needed to say hello.
You just need to say hello. And you know what? If you go, I know that like, so you go diving and you go on that boat. How many other people, when you're on that boat, are eating keto like you? None.
Oh, nobody.
None. You're literally the only person sitting on the boat. You're in a boat unto yourself. Because there's no guys like you. So maybe you could have some camaraderie. Maybe you can have guys that like you could talk to on the boat that share your hobby, but they don't share your way of eating.
They think I'm weird.
They think you're weird. And maybe, you're past that. Like, you're not going to stop eating keto because they think you're weird. But it's not like we're not vulnerable to hurt. Is that like we've adulted past the point of like it's hard to be the only person eating. And it's nice to know that you can come back from a dive and not talking to anybody that eats the way you do. And if you want to shoot him a message on Instagram, a text message, or on Facebook and just be like, hey, like, how's it going? What did you eat today? I had a hamburger. What'd you eat? And have that sameness. It's there for you to have.
So look at this one. Tater Farm said, I have a plan for including our community in goals here on our new farm, providing fresh eggs and produce to anyone who needs it.
I love that. I love Dr. Barry challenged me with what he's going to be doing this year. I'm going to be doing as well. And that is, he was sharing how a lot of times community like pantries, we get kind of judgy. Like we look at they're like, yeah, I see a pantry, but all they're doing is like giving out things like macaroni and cheese and like carby food. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to be the change. So I've decided that for my local food pantry, I am going to donate a case of sardines, a case of tuna fish, a case of chicken in a can, because that is like a proper human diet. I want to contribute to the proper human diet in my community, and I can begin there. I can't change everything, but there is something that I can do. And I love what you're doing is being a friend to your community, because yes, friendship isn't just within the Two Crazy Ketos family. Maybe you already have a friend, or maybe you have a neighbor and you're like, you know what I'm going to do in the spirit of friendship? I'm going to make a meat layer lasagna and I'm going to send it to my neighbor next door. That's what I'm going to do for friendship.
So Dawn said, are there any suggestions for a good central location to meet at? I'm open to having one in my home or community's hall if the group is too large for my house. And again, you don't even have to do that. You can do it at home in a local restaurant, Texas Roadhouse, but put it in our group. And again, we will be at the Tampa RV show.
Yeah.
And we every year that we go, we say we're going to be here. If you message us, if you want to walk around, last year we walked around with Chris Miller and Megan at the Tampa RV show.
Yeah.
This year we're going to show up together and we're going to RV together right there at the show. So and we've had meetups there. We'll put out this past year, nobody came other than them, but we did have people walk up to us, and we're happy to just take 2 or 3 hours and sit down. I mean, we're there for our RV thing, but also just to meet up with people.
So let's talk about what we're going to be doing within Mighty Networks to help facilitate some more community, maybe the ice breaking of it, because that's the challenge, I think, is how do I get started in Mighty Networks?
And then I just wanted to say that this one here, because this one's kind of ties in. So Mad to Itch says, I live in northern rural New Hampshire and I can find nobody who does this way of eating. If I didn't have these online communities, I don't know what I would do. I've inquired on many platforms and nothing.
Wow. I'm so glad you're here.
So we have our Mighty Networks group. And if you are not a member of our Mighty Networks group, we are going to encourage you to go join. Members.twocrazyketos.com. It is free. Yes, we have a Facebook group. I will be completely honest with you. If I could, I would turn off our Facebook group, because not you guys, but outside people come in and sneak their way in, and they get toxic. Like, we've had to boot so many people who don't believe in this way of eating, and they come in and they get toxic, and then you have the ads and everything else. We keep it because people like it, and we do go in there, although I will tell you, as we've always said, We do not answer Facebook Messenger messages.
Like
We don't.
instant
The
messenger.
instant messenger in Facebook. We don't even open it. It's not that we're ignoring you because we said don't message us. We don't open Facebook Messenger. We don't look at it. We don't use it. So we use other messenger services. But we do go in and read all the Facebook comments and we do answer things. We're just not as active there as we are in Mighty Networks because Mighty Networks is more closed. I know that Mighty Networks is like a newer thing to learn, but once you get in, it's super easy and it's more private. You don't have Facebook looking at you. You don't have ads. We pay $150 a month now to have it. And we pay that out of our pocket because it's a more secure community where you can feel yourself. There's instant messengers, there's walls, we can have courses, we can have groups. And so we want to facilitate community even more. So if you've never been in Mighty Networks, and I'm going to put this up over here. So this is our Mighty Networks. And I don't know what this is here, but okay, done. Maybe not.
Well, you can see it on the side.
Why is that like that?
I'm not sure, Chris Bear.
Okay. Anyway, if you can see here, even though I can't see anything, over on the side here, you have the feed, discovery, members, events, general, home.
That's where you first land.
And that's where you first land. Okay? That's not working.
It's almost like it's a screenshot instead of a live document.
Yeah, something's going on. Anyway, if you look over there, when you log on, you always want to click on home. That's like the Facebook homepage. Below there is groups. The top group right now is 2KK Getaway Cruise. So everybody that's in the cruise can go in there and we're posting stuff about the cruise. If you look right below there, now if you go into your Mighty Networks, you are not going to see this because we haven't made it active yet.
Yeah, we're going to make it active.
We have added 4 more groups and we are open for suggestions for a couple of more. I don't want to have 50 groups because I don't want to divide the community and then start. I don't want this to become the middle school lunch table.
We will never have a carnivore group versus a keto group.
Nope.
That number one is not going to happen.
That's not going to happen.
But so let's talk about the groups that we are adding because we're adding 4 groups right now. The number one is called Solo Mission because we understand whether you can show it or not, Joe.
There we go.
I don't know what you're doing.
So okay. Right here.
So over here is Solo Mission. You're going to see Han Solo is the profile pic for Solo Mission. And that is a group for people who are doing keto alone. Whether you are a singleton or you are a widow, a widower, you are the only person in your house that's doing keto, that's a solo mission. Maybe you have a partner, you have children, and you're living with 30 people in your house, but it's still a solo mission because you're the only person eating keto. I think it would be helpful to have a feed for people doing keto as a solo mission because maybe you can discuss like how do you make it work? How do you make, recipes? How do you grocery shop that's specific to the needs of a person doing keto on their own right now?
Right. So these groups are kind of like within Facebook how you have different groups. They're groups within our community. So if you post in that group, only the people that are a member of that group will see it. If you post on the main wall like, hey, I lost 150 pounds, everybody will see it. So this is the only place where it becomes a little complicated. So if you just want to, hey, I just want to go in and find some people who are on a solo mission because we understand each other, that's where you're going to go and maybe meet people in there.
So the next
one is
a family keto. So this is something, because this has been a challenge that even Michelle has shared with me, that it's like, okay, we're taking a low carb approach to raising Peyton, and we've got unique needs based on our season of life. Like our season of life, we've got young kids. Now we have children. Like if you have children and we have children, we both have children, right? We're all parents. However, our kids are in a different place right now. We're not trying to raise kids in keto. Like, we're not trying to raise sugar-free children right now. We're not trying to transition an entire family to the keto way of life. And so the headaches that go with like Michelle having to go to like a mommy and me group or a play group with a young child and being the only person there that is trying to take a low carb approach to raising their child, it's hard. There's unique challenges to having a family and also being keto. So maybe if you're like a keto family and you want to just talk about keto family issues, like that might be a place to make a friend.
The next one is a movement group.
So I've talked to people like Chris Miller who are like, hey, I know what I'm eating on keto. It's not about the food for me. It's about closing them rings on my Apple Watch. It's about getting movement in. Maybe your focus is strength training. Maybe you're trying to get your steps in. And so your focus is like, I'm looking for accountability mostly in this area. I'm looking for a friend like Sarah G loves outdoor activities. Ola, I know, loves movement. She loves like hiking. Like I said, Jujubee done 52 weeks and 52 hikes in 52 weeks. So movement challenges is what she's looking at. And so maybe she's looking for somebody that is going to be a friend that's going to challenge her in that arena. Okay, you did 52 hikes. What's next? Jujubee. So maybe you could find a friend that would be within the movement category or space.
And then the last one that we've added right now is backyard farmers.
I know that this is strange. This is more of like a hobby interest group. Now, what does a backyard farmer mean? That means somebody that's maybe you're raising a backyard flock of chickens like Joe and I are. Maybe you're somebody like Jujubee or Joe's mom who enjoys gardening. It's completely fine to have an interest in farming. Maybe you are like Dr. Barry and you're getting into more than just a small backyard flock. Maybe you're indeed a farmer, a cattleman, somebody starting to raise sheep like Dr. Barry. That could be a group for you. Maybe you have started doing some sort of homesteading. Maybe you're like, hey, I started to, take the goat milk that I'm buying from a local farm and turn that into soap. I'm trying to do some more fun crafting, that sort of thing. That may be the group for you. Now, the only thing that we ask when it comes to like homesteading or farming, maybe you're interested in like freeze drying your food, or I would say backyard farming. You could even be like people who are doing their own beef jerky, stuff like that. Like maybe you're trying to just get into some new type of hobby or enthusiast. The only thing we ask is what we ask of everybody, which is don't try to sell nobody nothing. Right? Like this is not like an invitation to be like, awesome, I just started a goat soap business, and so obviously I'm gonna start selling my goat soap to everybody. Like, no, that's not what it's for. It is for making friendships and being able to talk about some of the challenges, because us starting the backyard flock of chickens that we had nobody to talk to when we got a chicken that had Rhineck. Like, it happened. It was a very unique thing. We couldn't ask our neighbors, like, hey, have you ever experienced this? We had nobody to talk to. And it was a little bit scary. And so, of course, we reached out to YouTube and like watch YouTube videos, but it would have been nice to like talk to somebody about that unique challenge, already have a group like, hey, what do your chickens like to eat? Or what are your what are some of the unique challenges? Hey, are you building a backyard coop? What does that look like? I know our brother and sister-in-law, Becky, they have rabbits. And that's been kind of a new thing for them, to raise rabbits. And she loves when she meets somebody who also loves rabbits, because it's not a pet that a lot of people have. Our friend at church started raising quail. And they're like, I am definitely the only person in my neighborhood that's raising quail. So it might be a fun thing to just start a conversation. And then if you just post something like, here's a picture of my quail today, if someone is like, hey, cool, it's just a good interaction.
Yeah.
It didn't change the world, but maybe it changed your attitude for the moment. If you just have one less bad interaction with somebody and one more good interaction with somebody, will that be a bad thing?
No.
I don't think so. I think it could be a blessing.
Before we get off, I just want to hit a couple of comments that I saw here. Jennifer just put, okay, what if we are all four? I am only keto, trying to make keto for a not very receptive family. Definitely want to increase movement, and I have backyard birds.
You can sign up for them all, baby.
So again, there's no limit.
No
it's just we're
limit.
trying to put areas like, hey, it's trying to build more community. We'll never have something like this is the meat only group. This is the vegetable only group.
Join them all.
Because, I think Dr. Berry's term, I wish I would have patented it before him, of proper human diet.
Proper human family.
I cannot
proper human diet.
stand this whole thing of like, I'm better than you because I eat total carbs and you eat net carbs. I eat whole foods. The amount of comments we get about, like, literally somebody messaged us and said, the reason that we have anxiety over the scale is because we have a dumpster fire, diet, and that we eat too many keto foods.
Thanks for that.
And it's like, really?
Yeah.
Like, really, especially considering we don't. But, I don't want that. So we're never going to have groups where that's going to possibly spawn carnivore is better.
Right. Or keto is better.
We believe in whatever works for you, and this is a journey. And a lot of people start off eating net carbs and just like, hey, I don't want to do anything, and kind of gradually go to being stricter and total carbs and not eating as much cheese. I wish I could get there. But you know what I'm saying. And so we welcome everybody.
Yeah.
So long as you're not posting videos.
Right. Or trying to sell somebody something.
Or trying to sell somebody something.
And I think that in this month, that's January, that's coming up, if the only thing that happens is through this challenge, you're like, you know what? I've lost touch with a friend in my life that was a good friend. And I just got lazy in friendship. And they do live in my neighborhood, or there's somebody I went to high school with. And I know that they've come across my mind, and I could reach out to them and just send them a text, send them a postcard, send them a card, and just say, like, you're on my heart right now. If all it does, and it's not even keto, but it's just puts on your mind friendship, then I will feel like this is a success.
Yeah.
Truly.
So Sharon said, I'm a loner, and as well, I'm perfectly happy to stay home with my pets. And
totally
that is fine.
Yeah.
And we are asking people, get out of your comfort zone, but not get out of your comfort zone and meet people in person. So a lot of people want that. You see a lot of people going, I wish there was someone in my area, and our community is a good way to make that happen. But we're saying just reaching out and talking to somebody online. Is it out of our comfort zone? Yes.
Truly.
But you don't have to give them your credit card number, your
No.
social security number, or a picture of your driver's license. You could make your profile picture a picture of your cat.
That's right.
It doesn't matter.
Exactly.
It's just about working on community.
If all you do is be like, I never heart anybody's post, I never like anything, I never interact with it, and this month, if I see something that's interesting, I'm just going to like it.
Can I make a comment about that?
That's huge.
Can I make a comment? Because I have been criticized for this as well.
But here's the okay, I know what you're going to say, but
I'm
going to
say it anyway.
But you're ready for my response though, right?
Well, I'm still not going to ever do it, but there's a reason behind me not doing it, okay?
And I'm going to challenge you to do it.
No, I will never do it, okay? But I don't heart comments. But I don't not heart comments because I don't like the comment. It is, I am afraid that if I heart comments and then I miss one, let's say I take a day or 2 days off and I don't heart one, I'm afraid of hurting somebody's feelings and them going, why didn't he heart the comment?
I am not in charge of you.
But what I like to do is respond to comments that require...
That you do see.
Some comments obviously don't need a response. But I have been trying to even more, even if I see somebody where I used to just scroll past someone going, hey, I had no sugar today. And I'd be like, they're just telling everybody. It doesn't really... I have been trying to do that more and have a response. But I don't heart comments on anything just because I am afraid. And then what happens when, like, let's be honest. What happens my dad died today. Do you heart that?
Well, I
you
think
know,
you
like,
post a response.
You post, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it's so, but
You're
that's
acknowledging
just
it.
me.
So if whatever works for
But just
you,
responding to a comment is great.
totally works for you. Whatever.
But if
works
you
for
want
you.
to just heart a comment, that's
but
just
I had to let go the fear of being misunderstood. Part of the fear of being misunderstood, like, because when you make a comment on Facebook or Mighty Networks or something, if I post something in writing, you don't know the tone. You don't know it.
We just had that happen today.
Or if you don't, like, if you're afraid that, like, cool, I caught this one, but like maybe I missed the next one and then I'm going to hurt somebody's feelings. I used to allow that to paralyze me. And I think that that's a little bit where you're at, is like, it's paralyzed me because I'm so afraid of the backlash.
Well, because people have said something like, well, you didn't heart my comment. So great, now I don't heart anybody's comment.
Okay, but I'm not going to let that rob me of the interactions that I could have.
Yep.
Like, I think that it's like, if it's going to, you know...
Jennifer, but there's only 64,000 of us.
Right. So I think that I just have to believe the best about myself and trust that the people that will be in that closer circle of friends will get me. You know, and there is something so magical when you get those comments that are like, you suck and what you eat is terrible. You know what I mean? It has been the fact that we have made friends that I can go to those friends now and say, like, what do you see as the truth of me?
Right.
Because you will have interactions, and maybe I still have family members that are like, you're an idiot for doing keto. Like, and will be very vocal and like saying, I think you're an idiot. So then in the past, all I had is just that voice and that was it. But now that we've made some friends in the keto space, I can go to those friends and be like, think I'm an idiot? Do you think I'm an idiot? And they'll be like, no, you're not an idiot.
Right.
And then I can move on.
Right.
Instead of like just going back to bed and like putting the cover over my head and being like, I'm depressed now for the rest of the day.
Now, I do like every video I watch. I do hit the like button. Because it's not like a public thing where like just they can see like, oh, this Joe liked it. Like,
I'm just gonna ask you, Joe, to risk more rejection.
But I do like videos, and I ask you to like every video of ours we watch. But it's funny, Jennifer said there's only 64,000 of us, but there's actually a lot more because 70% of the people who watch our videos aren't subscribed, which makes no sense. So there's at least another 5,000 or 6,000 people out there.
Yeah.
That aren't subscribed.
More than that, if 70%.
Well, 70% of the people who watch a video. So if we have a video that has 10,000 views.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
7,000 of those views
are not
came from people who have not hit the subscribe button.
Gracious me.
Right? So where would we be if the people, we would be giving away a cruise.
I was going to say we'd be giving away a cruise right now. We'd be giving away a cruise,
right? Okay, so just a couple more. Sabrina, that's why all the questions and surveys Rachel puts out is such a great way to get to know each other.
Aw, thank you. And we will be, and I want to say, we're going to continue. I love getting to know you guys. I love seeing your banter back and forth when I have the question of the day. And you guys just talk back and forth. That's all it is. That's as hard as this needs to be. Is maybe if you're like, I see that silly question that Rachel poses every single day, the question of the day. And maybe like today's question was truly not a head scratcher. It was, what do you use most when you write? Do you use a pencil more, a pen more, a marker? What's your favorite mode of writing?
Whatever is closest to me, but I hate pencil.
Blood. Okay, so not pencil.
I'll use it like...
So maybe your challenge this January is just going to be answering the question. You already participated. What are you reaching for, friend?
You took away my...
I threw it out. I told you I cleaned today.
You didn't throw out this or this. You just threw out my Post-it note.
I threw out the trash that said, cut my packing in half.
But yeah, you have this mechanical pencil. That's the worst thing of all.
It is.
Sean said being socially awkward affects a lot of us because of where we were before keto. The best thing about Two Crazy Ketos is we see how much you care about this community.
Thank you so much.
Jennifer said, my son isn't sure he likes my new social superpowers. He's more secure if he thinks I'm at home on the couch.
And it is. And I mean, I got to tell you, even our kids, are like, they worry sometimes. Like, because they've seen us rejected by people in the past, and they're like, we know that coming out of your shell means that you're more vulnerable.
Right.
But they've also seen the return on that investment. And like, maybe you will meet somebody who's a jerk, but maybe you'll meet somebody that's not a jerk.
Carrie wants to know how many sharks have I run into?
Did you run into
diving?
anybody today?
So if I said I run into sharks, I will never get Rachel into the water again.
I know you run into sharks. I'm
Now,
not afraid
actually,
of that.
no. So I run into a lot of nurse sharks. Calling a nurse shark a shark is like calling your pet cat a tiger that's going to maul you in Africa. It's not the same thing. So I saw 2 nurse sharks today. One of them was a nice size one, smaller than the one you landed on the first time you went diving. But nurse sharks, pretty much for the most part, hide under a rock and stay there all day.
They're pretty docile.
Occasionally they'll swim around and they don't bother you. Sharks, by the way, do not bother you when they're swimming. They don't attack divers unless they're provoked. Usually they're provoked with somebody who's trying to push them, feed them, or they use like a strobe, where they try to, like, a guy got attacked down in the Keys once because he shot a spear at it. Well, of course
I would attack you also.
But sharks actually don't attack divers. And the whole idea is that they just don't bother you. Now, if you're spearfishing and you have a fish, they may come up and go, I want the fish, but they don't attack
And I have a piece of that.
The only other kind of shark that I've ever actually encountered on our reefs down here, where I was just going along, was a hammerhead.
I was going to say, I saw a hammerhead.
But hammerheads, there's no incident on record of a hammerhead ever attacking a human.
It's not like a bull shark.
It's not a bull shark. They could be nasty. And they feed them down here where you can go shark diving with them. And the whole idea of that is to show sharks don't attack people unless they're provoked. I just have a moral issue with shark feeding. And that's why I don't do it. But the problem is movies like Jaws and stuff, and it's ruined people's image. Kind of like
The Meg.
it's kind of like what Big Pharma and Big Food is doing with keto, right?
Yeah.
They're ruining
Scared.
everybody's perception of what the right
meat and you're
thing
gonna
to
die,
eat.
so it's
Right.
scary, and you don't want to wade into it. Maybe
Yeah.
you're like, I think a lot of people are like, I got to stop it as low carb and not take that step into like being meat heavy. They're not even like increasing their meat, they're reducing their pasta.
It's
like
like
that's
we were
what
talking
they're
about
doing.
potassium the other day, right?
Because people are
have said
afraid.
there's too much potassium in the new salty. I disagree. There's 15 milligrams of potassium in there. That's less potassium than a banana, less potassium than an avocado, less potassium than a half a cup of lima beans. Yet doctors will tell you to eat that. But somewhere you've got a bunch of people saying, don't eat potassium. Like, you can't have potassium, but it's okay to have a banana?
We're just gonna have to continue drinking salty and show that we're alive.
Right.
That's it.
Okay, we're going to end with this because it's all about community.
Yay.
Kate in Salt Lake is 71 years old today.
Oh, okay. You want to sing to Kate?
Yep.
Ready? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Kate. Happy birthday to you and many more, so many more Kates.
Make sure you are subscribed to our channel and you've hit that bell button to be notified for tomorrow's recipe video that was created by Rachel.
Whoop.
And is probably the best thing she's ever made. Believe me, like, I may have gained 100 pounds eating. No, I'm just kidding. But no, it is really, really good. And then Monday we will be live at 10 a.m. Eastern time for Keto Beyond the Couch.
We love you guys.
Bye.